Welcome back. Wait a minute. Hello. Introducing actually a revolution of our show. I'm the chosen lawyer with Jean-Pierre El-Khoury, JP El-Khoury. And you remember us from the last tapings of The Real Mark Bagwell, a wrestling docuseries. Well, they say when one door closes, another one opens. Buff, Mark Bagwell is doing really, really well. Wishing him all the best. From when I had started off that docuseries with Buff and his cousin Jerry Hood, we saw a lot of changes in Buff. He went through rehab. He's going really strong right now. Better than ever with DDP, and things are really on the up for him. He's attending a lot of conventions, doing a lot of programs. You can see him all over social media. And so the docuseries served its purpose. We were going for about a year there and chronicling his life, saw him through his ups and downs. And all the best to Buff. And when the Buff show transition, today is episode 1 of our new series, Brofessional Wrestling Podcast. Not professional, but brofessional. So we got 2 bros here. JP, how excited are you about our new program?
Super excited, man. It's a dream come true to be able to do this together and just kick off this new series. And so happy to see Buff doing so well again.
We're so happy for him, honestly. He's buff, he's the stuff, and the girls just can't get enough. Now, you'll see that's a little blank behind me. We're going to talk about your set in a moment, but I got you a surprise. So, you know how you got to revolutionize the set and everything. So, we're getting some stuff put together, but I got the centerpiece of our new set. So, that we have MJF with Triple B, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Triple H is introducing the new championship, which you're going to talk about. Well, the chosen lawyer, got his own championship right here, baby. And this is the chosen championship, which, by the way, was ordered for me as a gift from my producer for my birthday. And it looks a lot like the Triple H belt, does it not?
Absolutely.
Because it's based on the original NWA championship. So I'm going to be hanging this bad boy on my mantelpiece. And this was given to me a couple months ago. And way before we even knew about the Triple H championship. So I'm going to sport this on my shoulder here as we talk. I was going to put it around my neck, like Buddy Murphy does. But you wouldn't be able to see my face because my face is not as big as his. So we got the championship. We got the Chosen Lawyer Championship for Brofessional Wrestling. JP El-Khoury, man, you always outdo yourself with your set. Tell us about the set today, please.
All right. What we've got going on is I made a mock-up of the new championship belt. To me, it looked just like what was famous in my era for the WCW belt, with just the WWE logo slapped in the middle. It's basically what it feels like. We've got vintage Stone Cold shirt, Triple H shirt, and AEW shirt, and it all ties into what we're going to talk about today.
The Triple H shirt is funny. It looks a lot like a Gangrel symbol, from the Broods, right? I'm kind of noticing that now. But man, that's a vintage Triple H. What are you sporting? What are you wearing today?
I'm wearing Seth Rollins today. This is one of my favorite merch items ever released. Just when it came out, I knew I had to have it. So went out and got it.
I knew when I'm going to be talking with you and we're co-hosting together, you always outdo yourself. So I had to bring up my game today.
Oh man. Stunning.
That's a SummerSlam. That's a sure. Imagine we can go in a time machine and go back to a SummerSlam. That'd be one of them. Wow.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. A lot of amazing athletes on that one.
Those were the times, So, and now for our premiere episode, we're going to be talking about, coming up in a short few hours, actually, is Backlash 2023 from Puerto Rico, right? We got Saturday, May 6th, 8 p.m. Eastern time. But before we talk about Backlash and our predictions, JP, I got to ask you now, because I'm looking at that belt and I see the NWA belt, WCW belt. this whole concept of this Triple H Heavyweight Championship. Firstly, does it look like he went to a belt designer and said, okay, you know how they got the Triple B at AEW? Can you kind of give me the closest looking Triple B belt without giving me Triple B? Because does that look kind of like Triple B to you?
It looked a lot when I saw it. And I find what's interesting about the new belt is the design of it makes it so hard to see what it is. I can't read, world champion too clearly. I don't know what it is. I guess all like the curves. I think there's lions on it. I'm not sure if they have lions and a bird, but I can't make out the whole design.
See, why don't they do this? Why don't they just put the guy on the belt like this?
Yeah.
And then it's easy to tell. You can read this one, The Chosen Lawyer, and there I am flexing. Just do that. Yeah, I thought, they took me for a curve because I thought they're going to reintroduce the winged eagle one. That was the rumor. That's what Cody Rhodes said he wanted as his belt, which did not end up happening. But now I'm more confused than ever, JP. I got two questions for you. First of all, as a wrestling expert, what the heck is going on with these belts now? Like, is there going to be 3 belts? So does Roman Reigns have 2 belts and keep having his 2 belts going to whatever brand he's going into in the draft, and then there'll be a 3rd belt introduced? What's going on with the number of belts?
Yeah, so that's what I'm hearing, is that they're going to have Roman take both of his belts into whichever show he's drafted to, and then the show that he's not drafted to is going to receive the new belt. Which to me, it's too confusing. It's kind of like you've basically built Roman up that he can't be defeated, and since we can't beat him or bring anybody or build anyone up to defeat him, let's just put another belt out there. And it just doesn't make sense, It's like if you wanted to go that route, come up with like a television title or something like that. Don't also call it a world championship, because it's ridiculous. You have the world championship, the universal championship, and now you have the world heavyweight championship,
or just the heavyweight championship.
Is that what it is? Like it's just it's too much. It doesn't make any sense. Like, Roman isn't, totally untouchable. They could work a program towards that, but this kind of just feels like we're just gonna let Roman run with it, which kind of cheapens his run a lot. I think too, because when you talk about like Hogan having that amazing world championship streak and others before Roman having the world championship streak, they were defending it. There was one belt, and that was the belt, and that was it. Now to have a 3rd belt, it cheapens his legacy, I think, a lot. I don't think this was the best move on their end.
I agree with you fully in the sense that this was not executed right. I don't get this at all. I thought the way Triple H was going with it, we need a champion that's going to defend their belts, week in, week out. Roman made his deal and all to him, but it's not really fair to the fans. I would have left him with 1 belt, stripped him of a belt, and made a tournament, or made him defend each belt separately, or come up with something. You have to defend it X amount of time, and if you don't defend it, then you're going to lose the belt, like they do in boxing, like they do in MMA with UFC. This I don't get. Now, let's assume we're going to go with this plot, okay, this weirdo plot. My sources are telling me that they're going to hand the belt to the hand-picked champion. So there'll be no tournaments. There's no fighting to earn this championship. Whoever they're selecting in that, so we know wherever Roman is drafted to, on the other brand, they're going to have to hand the person championship. I thought they're going to do a tournament. No, they're just going to hand it to a person. Did you hear the same thing?
I was hearing that it was going to be, was it Night of Champions? I think they were scheduling it for, and then they were just going to have a straight out journey to whoever wins, and then that's the champion.
I heard that the champions that are currently are all going to be set to defend their belts respectively, and the one hand-picked champion at the Clash of Champions is going to simply be handed his belt, and the guy that apparently they want to hand it to is Seth freaking Rollins.
That's why I wore the shirt today, because he's the guy I'm gunning for. His promo on Raw this week was awesome. And you know what? I miss seeing him as a champion personally. I think he's uber talented. He's brings a lot to the business. There were some rumors about him being unhappy as well, but they got squashed earlier, a couple maybe within the last week or so. But apparently he was pretty unhappy, especially with the upcoming match with Almost.
Almost, because
Almost.
Jim Cornette calls him almost because he's almost good. If you're gonna hand the guy the belt, just sign Chris Jericho over from AEW, bring him back, make a whole think about it, and just hand him the belt. I'd be more fun with that. Seth Rollins, like, this isn't a participation ribbon, This isn't like, you've given us 20 good years, 10 good years. Here's your prize. That's what it feels like. If they do anything besides the tournament, I think that belt is automatically cheapened until somebody starts defending it. You got to figure out this Roman Reigns thing, because long term, you cannot have 3 belts. This makes no sense. I think you got to unify. I think Roman has to drop the belts at some point. The next person is going to unify those belts and make 1 belt, and that'll be it. Use the winged eagle, and let's call it a day. 2 belts, max 1 on each program. I'm good with that.
Same ways, man. That wing eagle is probably one of the most beautiful belts ever made. It's the second nicest belt I've seen. The Chosen Lawyer belt, that's the first. But but you know what? That winged eagle is gorgeous. I was surprised. I was hearing the same things too about it coming back. And then when Triple H came up and he's like, here's this new belt that we've kind of put together, where we're not really clear. He talks down to the champion, makes his run seem super insignificant, while bumping it up and saying he's reaching 1,000 days, right? It's like it was just very confusing. Like, what is the point of this? You're absolutely right, and just stripping the belt and moving on. That would have been the best bet.
Now, we're going to talk about confusing. We can even talk about the upcoming draft, which, part 1 taken care of on SmackDown. But, who's drafting? Who we used to have 2 general managers, one for Raw, one for SmackDown. Now, all of a sudden, it's Adam Pearce. So is Adam Pearce going to a fishbowl? Are they going to have team captains like Team LeBron, Team Giannis? Like, I'm so confused. Whatever, they'll figure it out for us, and we'll stop banging our heads. And it's time to get ready for Backlash, because we got a big pay-per-view coming up. Can't say I'm impressed with the amount of matches here. This really feels like I'm watching a Raw or SmackDown, to be honest. But let's go along with this. Puerto Rico's excited. Let's go one by one. We got 7 big matches. The goal today, what our predictions are, and then we can look back with glory and see if we were right or wrong.
I like it.
Good to you?
Let's jump into it.
All right, let's start with the biggie. I say we start with the big match first, and that's Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. I got a feeling we're going to heavily disagree on this one. JP, the floor is yours. Who's your prediction, and how is it going to go down?
All right, so I believe that it'll be Cody walking away with the W. Now, it could go either way, but I kind of drew up 2 scenarios for this. Ideally, it's a typical Cody match, gets into the match, gets pummeled for most of the match, somehow gets the crowd behind him, takes out Brock, 1, 2, 3, calls it a day. But, in an alternate universe, I would kind of like to see Cody still getting the win, but because the bloodline came in and interfered to help recruit Brock, to get Brock into the bloodline. So that's the way that I would kind of see it go down. I'm thinking it's going to be a total Cody win either way. And, I can't see him manhandling Brock or I think it's going to be really one-sided for most of the match, and then the eventual build up and then take over. How do you feel?
I'm sorry to break this to you. I want to see Cody do it in some ways, But after what the fiasco that we saw at WrestleMania, here's what's going to actually go down. WWE's decided to build up Cody so they could squash him. This is now a message to his dad in the heavens. And they're saying, Cody, Brock is going to beat the bejeebers out of you. You'll put in a little bit of fight, but Brock is going to win. Cody's going to look even worse. The story continues. The story will not be told. I don't see it happening. I think somewhere Vince and Triple H are going to be laughing at Cody and saying, oh, you started AEW and you brought out that throne and you made fun of Triple H and your dad used to compete with us. So we're just going to squash the Rhodes family. I see this being a big squash to Cody, and Brock is going to take it, and it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, I fully agree that it won't be pretty. I just have a feeling that he might just edge it out in the end. He's doing well selling merch. Vince loves people who can move merch. I think he will. I think he will edge it out. Okay. Time will tell, my friend.
All right. We're not agreeing on this one, but it should be an interesting match nonetheless. Yeah, one match that I don't think will be very interesting, which I see it as more of an opener on SmackDown, is this horrible 6-man tag team match where you got the Bloodline, you got the Usos and Solo Sikoa going up against Riddle. And he's Matt Riddle again. He's not just Riddle. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who are still the champions for another day or so. Now, I'll alternate with you. I'll go on this one. I'm going to tell you the heels are going again. Heels are taking them down. Riddle is not going to have good communication. He's going to mess up, and they're going to take him down. And Kevin Owens is going to get all mad at Riddle. And Sami Zayn is going to try to defend Riddle. And it's going to start putting some cracks in Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Mm-hmm. That's how it's going down. Bloodline's looking strong. And we're building towards Solo Sikoa taking over the Bloodline eventually versus him and Roman Reigns. Ooh. What do you think, JP?
Absolutely, buddy. I'm on the same page with you. Actually, in my notes here, I said it would, if I can't see the Bloodline losing this, because it kind of be that final big crack between them. And I think that would be the end of the Bloodline should they lose. So I'm 100% on board with you. I think Sami, I can definitely see Sami and KO getting into it again. And, Riddle in between, 100%, you're 100% bang on that one.
All right. So we're in agreement on this one. 2, I think we're going to agree very much on is the women's championship matches. I'll let you get started on this one. Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega. The Puerto Rico native. Does Vega have a chance against Rhea Ripley?
Vega for the win. Just kidding. It's not going to happen. You know what? Rhea's just way too hot right now. She's got everything going for her. The size difference between them. I get that it's a hometown girl, but I don't think Zelina's going to have the best of luck against Rhea on this one. I think it's going to be just a beatdown.
It's you want to talk about what's going to be a Puerto Rico street fight? It's going to be that match. And I think that Zelina Vega is going to enjoy her stay in a Puerto Rican hospital that evening after Rhea Ripley absolutely obliterates her. It's going to be worse than Braun Breaker versus Andre Chase. It's just going to be horrific. I'm so sorry for Zelina. I bet that'll probably be the opening match, I imagine, to get the crowd pumped because she's a Puerto Rican favorite. And love her on many pieces, but she'd have a better chance against Spike Dudley than Rhea. It's gonna be not pretty for her. Agreed. I don't know. I don't know if she'll get one punch in even.
I think she'll get a couple. You got to get the crowd behind her, right?
So let's go the other route now. So we got the SmackDown Championship. We're moving to the Raw Women's Championship, and we got Bianca Belair versus Io Sky, the genius of the Sky. I love Io Sky very much. And I would love to see her win. And in a perfect world, she would. And Bianca, time is starting to slip for her. She's already been in there for about a year or so. I could see Io taking it at some point, but they cannot give it to her right now. For many reasons, Bianca's going well. We still got to make a heel turn for her. Io has to still get into a whole thing with damage control. So what's going to happen is Io's about to win the belt. Somehow damage control is going to screw it up for her. Bianca's gonna do the roll up and the EST, and it's over. And then we are going to see the end of Damage Control as we know it. And be interested to see who's going to be the face out of that. I'm going to guess Bailey is going to go back to being a face, actually. And bye-bye Damage Control. JP?
I hear you on that one. I fully agree with you on that one. That Bianca will walk away still WWE champion. Now you mentioned time is against her, but clearly if she has it for too long, they'll just put out another belt. So time doesn't mean anything anymore, I guess, in WWE championships. So I think for Bianca, she's gonna go in there, dominate the matchup. I could see that angle working out, as you mentioned, with Damage Control coming in, mucking it up for her, and then that group kind of break apart. I think it's kind of time. They're running a bit stale, I would say. And I would probably say Io, I could see her being the face out of it. People feel bad that she lost it. The crowd can kind of rally behind her. I think in her time in NXT, I would say she was more of a face than a heel. So I think it's a good fit for her.
See, I would like to see the hugging Bailey come back. So I think that Io Sky and Dakota Kai are going to do a major beatdown on her 2-on-1. Maybe somebody will come rescue Bailey. Maybe Sasha Banks. No, joking. That's not going to happen. But something's going to happen there. And you know what the sad thing is, though? I hear you as far as getting a little stale, but that's as far as how they were booked. The three of them are better off together than separate. And I think going away from Damage Control will actually hurt them in the long run for a while. But we shall see. Next championship. Another one actually going to defend it. What a surprise. Austin Theory is getting put into another triple threat match. This time against Lashley and Bronson Reed. JP?
Yeah, you know what? I believe Theory is easily going to walk out of this one as the champ. He's super red hot right now. He's doing a great job making the belt relevant. He hasn't been kind of just sitting on the sidelines, right? So and he's one of Vince's boys. So I think he's walking away with the W, and it'll just be a huge match, a huge hard-hitting match between Lashley and Reed. So I think he's just going to let them pick each other apart, kind of like what we saw on Monday Night Raw, and then just come in for the W.
Watching Bronson Reed and been doing a lot of the vignettes,
Mm-hmm.
It's really tempting to say that Bronson Reed is going to take this belt, that they're like pushing him up, but they're pushing him up enough. But I agree, it's going to be the typical plot line where Lashley and Reed are going to beat up each other. Theory will come in for the cheap victory. But I think Reed's going to come very close. I think he's going to come very, very close. And they're going to continue the whole program between Lashley and Reed. But Reed has the makings of a champion. I like him a lot. And it's a shame, but Theory is doing his thing, and Theory is killing it. And people love to hate him. So I say let's keep the belt on Theory.
Agreed.
The match of the night on Backlash. I know you're waiting for this one for sure. It's your boy Seth Rollins versus my boy Almost. So almost. The Nigerian Giant, 7'3". Okay, this should be an easy win for Almost, but it ain't gonna be, because I don't know how Seth Rollins is gonna do a stomp on this guy, but he's gonna find a way, because he's gonna be handed a championship very soon. So to hand him a championship at the Clash of the Champions, he's got to beat Almost. So I have no idea why they're fighting each other, and they're just gonna keep burying Almost deep, and it's gonna be a Seth Rollins victory.
I fully agree that it will be Seth Rollins' victory. I thought that he would be in this title picture sooner than later, and I think Seth's done it. Like, he's proven he can take down a lot of bigger opponents in the past. I think this would be no different for him. Almost he hasn't been doing anything to make me think otherwise, that he has a real fighting chance in this. He's just a big guy that's just there to pump up other talent. Like, which sucks. Like I think he could be something big, but he's just not getting any traction there, you know?
He's meant for AEW. We need to see almost in AEW. I think life would be much better for him there.
I don't know, man. He could be all right there, but I don't think the big guys do too well in AEW personally, because it's such a fast-paced wrestling match at AEW. Like when I watch AEW, it's like in high speed, it seems, compared to some WWE matches. I think he'd find better success maybe in an Impact or something like that, where there aren't as many big fish in the sea that are gunning for number one spot.
I think we need to have it that Wardlow is going after MJF again, and then almost comes out to protect him, new bodyguard, and then we're gonna have an almost Wardlow program.
See, that something like that could work too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I can see it happening, but I still have not got a confirmation if Wardlow and Madcap Moss are the same people. I feel like they are, but I've been told they are different people. But even Madcap, think about it. Like, yeah, how much worse he was off without Baron. He needs Baron back. Baron needs Madcap. Madcap needs Baron. Wardlow, I still think needs MJF. I think he was better off. So maybe almost can fix Wardlow. So we'll see.
They got AA Arn Anderson now working with him, so it's a start.
Maybe Wardlow can have John Bradshaw Layfield come and JBL come fix him up. No, that's been done also.
Yeah.
So now you're ready for the main event, the big one, right? We got professional wrestler Damian Priest versus music sensation Bad Bunny. I guess Logan Paul was busy, plus it's Puerto Rico. Please tell me how you think Bad Bunny's going to win this match.
All right. So for this one,
in a Puerto Rico street fight, Puerto Rico street fight.
For the Puerto Rico street fight, I'm definitely going to call lots of run-ins. I'm going to see LWO. I think they're going to get a huge pop there, right? LWO, because you already saw, I don't know if you noticed their new branded logo with the Puerto Rico flag in it.
I'm sure it's going to be available for sale at the merch stands as we're speaking.
Absolutely, right? So that one, it's I'm pretty sure they're gonna run in. There's gonna be Judgment Day running down, and then by hook or by crook, he's gonna end up with the W somehow. Probably, I'm expecting a lot of kendo stick shots, and maybe Ray coming in and hitting him with a 619, and Bad Bunny with, I guess, something basic like a DDT to get the win. Yourself?
I got a question. It's a Puerto Rico street fight. There's no disqualifications, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not bring a switchblade? Honestly, why not bring an actual axe or a sword and actually stab the guy? You're going to win that fight real quick, right? It's no disqualifications. What's wrong with that?
We got to keep
AEW, you can use a screwdriver to the guy's forehead.
That's hilarious, man. They've tried, actually. I remember in one Hell in a Cell, they had Orton versus Hardy. Versus Jeff Hardy. They brought out the whole toolbox and they put like the screwdriver in his ear and stuff. But yeah, it's I can't expect it getting too wild. Bad Bunny is worth a lot of money to a lot of people, so they're gonna do everything to safeguard him.
If Bad Bunny called me up and said, listen, I need a chosen lawyer to be part of my posse, I need you to come on the jets with me and the limos, and I would happily join his posse. No problem at all, Bad Bunny. I'm there for you, buddy. Whatever you need. Carry your lunch pail, shine your shoes. I would do it in a second. I can only imagine the lifestyle of Bad Bunny. What I will tell you is this. I'll add one more. I agree with everything you said, so I'm just going to add in one more thing. Guaranteed Damian Priest is going through a table. The end. Guaranteed. Yeah. That's it. They're going to find a way to put this man through a table, and it's going to be over for him.
Yeah, it's, you know what, though? I hope that this starts to open up a new chapter in Judgment Day. Maybe if they start taking a lot more L's, I really want to see Balor out of Judgment Day. I want him out. I want him to reconnect with AJ Styles and then kind of bring the club back together. I think they have that opportunity once AJ Styles comes back from his broken ankle. But like put in Gallows, put in everyone else, and I think that would be a better fit for him. I don't see him leading Judgment Day anymore. He's taking too many losses. I know recently he came up with a win, but it hasn't been anything spectacular. Of the leader, of the alpha of the group, he's not showing it. If Roman was going in picking up loss after loss, he wouldn't seem like the boss anymore, right?
I think none
And
of us doubt that the alpha male in that group is Rhea Ripley, number one. And
agreed.
I think she is the leader there. There's not even a question. So I'm going to ask you to hold on to that thought for 2 weeks from now, because we're going to have a very special topic to talk about in 2 weeks. So that's going to actually come up. So today, in summarizing today's episode, our premiere episode of Brofessional Wrestling, because it's bros talking wrestling. Backlash overall, looking ahead, out of 10, what do you think this one's going to be? A 9 out of 10, 5 out of 10? How do you see overall the night going?
I'm gonna call it a 6. I don't see anything to be a real big shocker or surprise. I think, when you've got matches like Rhea versus Zelina, it's pretty straightforward. Or you've got like, Bianca's match. It's kind of a gimme, right? So I'm not expecting any exciting twists or turns. I think it's a great event, something exciting for the people of Puerto Rico, but I don't think it's going to be anything special personally. How would you rate it?
I would give it a 5 out of 10 on everything else being equal, unless they figure out a way to bring Chavo Guerrero and or Vicky Guerrero in with Dom and to turn on Ray with Bad Bunny. That'll be interesting to me. Then I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. But barring Chavo and Vicky showing up, I think it's going to be a 5 out of 10. This is just a filler pay-per-view in between WrestleMania and SummerSlam. So, but it's still WWE pay-per-view, so we got to watch it. JP El-Khoury, it's been a pleasure, a slice. We got our premiere episode underway and done. And I'll see you back next week. We got a big episode 2 coming up. We're going to talk about the biggest returns to wrestling, those that have been done and some that we are expecting to happen shortly.
All right, bro. We'll see you soon.
See you soon, bro.